What a guan, pan what a guan. If you're just tuning in, welcome to the live. So today I'm going to interact with you and we're going to talk about whatever you want to talk about. You can comment below. We have some story time today. Yes, guys, we're gonna have some story time today. Story time today. So when I was younger, I grew up in the country. So I was very, very rude when I was small. And they have this place all the way up the road. I think it's like a river or a pond. And they call it crawl pond. But they always tell children do not go up to crawl pond. Now I gonna tell my mother that I am going to the playground to play. Guess when me end up with some other road picnic? Gone up a crawl pond. But in the crawl pond, it have some wire where you can hold on to a thing and you go across. So it had a lot of kids, they go and they hold on the wire and go across. The pond deep now. Good thing I had a strong will. People, I say no. They say, oh, go in the pond, you can hold on. I would have drowned if I didn't have a good, strong mind. I nope, I'm not going in the pond. Even though it have things you can hold on to, my mother say not to go in that pond because a lot of kids drown. So I just stay on the sideline because I couldn't swim, so I did not go in the pond. A lot of kids go to that pond and drown. A lot of kids. So when I was younger, my mom said, do not go to that pond. But because I want to follow friends, I was very rude when I small. I grew up in the countryside, so it have a lot of river and it have a lot of pond. So they drown a lot because kids don't listen to the parents. So me, if I didn't have a strong mind, I would have get drowned in the pond. Because I tell my mom, oh, I'm going to the playground. Because in Jamaica, nobody's going to steal you. Back then, you go to the playground and the area. You know, it's not like other places. Kids could have go to the store by themselves, go to the playground. Nobody ain't going to kidnap you or take you away or do you stuff when you're young. In my village that I grew up in Jamaica, remember I'm old, I'm in my 40s. So we always rude. So I would tell my friends, oh, let's meet up over the playground. I was very rude. And we would go to the river. But the pond, our parents always tell us do not go to that pond. And we gone to the pond. If I had gone that pond, I wouldn't be here to tell you the story because a lot of kids drown. Anyway, I remember I have this river. So where my dad property is, when you go all the way down to the bottom, it have a river run through the property, and then you have the other side is our land still. So guys, let me give you a story. We go down to the river. I always tell my mom, oh, I'm going in the back of the yard to play with my friends. Kids are very rude, eh? Guys, I went in the back of the yard. We go down to the river. And Jamaican cheese, it come into a pan. Jamaican cheese come in a pan. So they would cut the pan. So you will have the pan that you can even use to cook, the cheese pan. If any Jamaican on the live, they can tell you about the cheese pan. So we both steal stuff from each parent's house, like we take salt and other stuff, and we go to the river. Back then, the river had something. Remember, guys, to like and share and subscribe. So we bring the cheese pan to the river because we use it to cook. So we go to the river and we start fire and we catch crayfish because the river back then have crayfish. But when I went recently, they say it doesn't have nothing like that in the river anymore. I don't know why, guys. So it have crayfish in the river and we lift up the stones and we grab them with our hands. You know, when you're a kid, you're very brave, you know. And we would get the crayfish and throw them over on the banking. And it had some black looking one. We call them janga fish. Janga fish. But we used to say it says shrimp. This message is held back for review. So we say it is hi, how are you doing? So when we went to the river, guys, so we catch the janga fish and we fry them up and stuff like that. So we catch the fire by the river and we would fry up the shrimp and we swim in the river. It was a nice life. Like living back in the country in Jamaica, it was very nice. And you know, kids nowadays, they don't get such a nice life, you know, because most kids is on their tablets and they don't like to go outside. But back home, nobody have no tablet in those days. So either you go to the playground or you go to the river, hide and go to the river because your parents wouldn't want you to go to the river because they say sometime if rain come, the river will come down and you could get drowned by the river. And they used to tell like story about the river have mermaid and all kind of stuff. So, but we wasn't scared about no mermaid. We tried to go to the river every day so we could see this mermaid. So they used to have story about a mermaid by the river. So we was kids and we curious. Anyway, guys, when I go to the river and swim and I in the river water, my eyes always turn red. I don't know why. Anytime I go to the river, my eyes always red. So now when I come back home now, and my mom would say, where were you? I say I was at the river. And she said, oh, if you had lied, I was going to spank you. I'm going to beat your butt. But you tell me the truth because I can't lie. My eyes red. And she said, I tell you guys not to go to the river? I just laugh and she'd get mad because I know if I tell my mom the truth, she's not going to spank you. But if you tell my mom lie, oh, you will get it. She will spank your butt if you tell lie. So growing up, if I do stuff, I know if I tell the truth, my mom not going to beat me. So I always be honest and tell her the truth. And then she will say, oh, don't do it again and stuff like that. And talk to you and tell you the dangers of the river and stuff like that. But growing up in the country in Jamaica is nice. It's a vibe. Even like I remember when I was younger, they had like water shortage in the country part in Jamaica. And people used to go to the river and wash their clothes by hands. Yeah. Even like children in Jamaica, like when you're younger, you would they will get your underwear and you would have to wash them in a little pan and stuff like that. Your mom is not going to wash your underwear. You get your little pan and you wash your stuff. So life growing up, like a lot of people would say, oh, I'm poor. I don't have no money. But let me tell you something. The life you live, like us from the Caribbean or from different country that they would say always third world countries and stuff like that. Trust me, it is very nice and that is riches. Like now I living in America, you in the house. Like when it's summertime, it is so hot. You have to be inside with AC. Okay, when the sun go down and it cool outside, you try to sit outside, mosquito gonna bite you up. You can't enjoy nothing here. Nothing. You go in the water here to the beaches. The beaches is like, you know, when you put tea inside of water, that's how you was poor. Well, I don't know what people consider poor because my dad had a lot of land and my grandfather had a lot of land. So my dad was a farmer. So I don't know what people consider poor, but you know, things that people consider poor is actually rich because going to the river, that's a nice life. Eating organic food. On the farm, you get your organic eggs, and then they will kill cows and stuff when celebration, goat. So I don't know if that is considered poor, because that's a nice life. Nice, nice life. The best life in the world. You know? Some people would consider it and say, oh, you was poor, but for me it was rich, because going to the river as kid and enjoying the river and playing with your friends outside and on the farm going to pick up organic eggs. My dad had a farm, so I grew up on a farm, so it was very nice on the farm for me. Now when I take my kids to Jamaica and they go on my dad property, they'll be so excited. They run go see the goats, and they run down to the river. They love it. They doesn't want to come back. They don't want to come back to America. They really love that kind of life. So if you're in another country and you're saying, oh, I'm poor and I don't have it, let me tell you something. Love when you have love and you have your family around you and everybody eat together and stuff like that, that's the best riches. What do you call riches? If it's money, because for me money is not riches. Living a good healthy life, having good family time, good memories, making good memories with your children, that is what I consider rich. Because when you die, just think about it. When you die, nobody remember about your money and your stuff. They will remember how you treat people and the memories that you share and the memories that you had together. That's what make you rich. So if you're somewhere and you don't have money, please don't think money make you rich. Because all those nice life that I used to live and going to the river and running up and down as a young kid, and nobody is going to take you away or nobody doing your stuff. Because if you're doing something rude in my village you grew up, some an older person can say, hey, don't do that. And trust me, if you go and tell your mom, an older person speak to you and tell you stop doing something rude, hey, and you tell your parents what you did, you getting another beating on your butt. But like today, nobody can talk to nobody kids. Because if you see somebody kids doing something in the road and you say, oh no, that's wrong. Oh, they go get their parents and their parents be like, why are you talking to my kid? That's not your kid. That's not your place. Yeah, me growing up, anybody who is the elderly person can scold you and tell you not to do something. That's why you notice, like in third world countries, the kids be more respectful and they study more, and they progress more when they go to the first world country, as they say, because they say that this place is first world country. But all the people, the nurses, the doctors, if you're living in a first world country and you go to the doctor, most of the doctors, they're from India. A lot of nurses is from Africa, Jamaica, from the Caribbean place. So to me, a lot of people saying you're from third world country, but let me tell you, when you come to the first world country, it's you all working here in the first world country. Yeah, because we are more disciplined. And aunties can talk to your kids and uncle. First world country, nobody want to talk to your kids. It's like it's different. So what I'm saying is, if you're in a third world country, don't feel like you're worse than anybody else. Because let me tell you something. When you live in the Caribbean, which they would say third world, you have one job. I mean, you might not have luxury, but in the first world country, all you do is work, 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 and pay bills. Work, 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 and pay bills. That's all in the first world country. You work and you pay bills. It's like you have no enjoyment. You see, if sometime if you don't go back home and reset, you will have a depression or a mental breakdown. I'm telling you, you have to go home sometime and refresh yourself. Eat some good food, natural food, enjoy fresh air. You know what I mean? Yeah. So don't ever feel because you're not living in one of those big European countries. Don't ever feel you're worse than anybody else. Because trust me, a lot of people in other countries living very much better than people in first world country. Because in Jamaica, most people have owned their land. Most people own their land. So even if you gotta build a bamboo house on your land, at least the land is your land. Yeah. Everybody in the most in third world country, they own the land. Most European country, it's credit people live on and they act like they live in a big life. In the third world country, people own their own houses. They're not paying no loan. People own their land. They're not paying no loan. If they have a farm property, they own that property. But in America and other places, hi darling, how you doing? In America and other places, everything is credit, honey. Don't let nobody fool you. You see somebody driving a big expensive car, they paying car note. They don't own it. In the third world country, most people buy their car cash. It doesn't matter if the car is old, because if I'm driving a nice car and you're driving an expensive car, honey, the both cars can take me wherever I want to go. Yes. So don't feel like because you're in a third world country, oh, I'm poor, I'm this. In those European country and America, everybody live off credit. Nobody own nothing like that. Because even the land, even if you for your house, you don't own no land here. In the Caribbean and other countries, you own your land because guess what? Maybe it was your grandfather owned and it passed down to you. So I'm just telling you, I'm not saying you're not supposed to go to European country and try, to make money if you're not making money in your own country. I'm not discouraging anybody, but I'm just saying, don't feel going to a European country or America is a bed of roses. Don't think that the road is gold. You're gonna have to do things in those countries that you would never do in your country. Maybe you have to people talk to you like you're nobody, and you have to humble yourself because you need a job, or if you don't pay your rent you're gonna be outside. A lot of time people go overseas, they have to struggle a lot. They have to take things that they would never take from nobody in their country. People will disrespect you, and you have to take it because guess what? It's gonna be hard to find a job. Or you might be with somebody and they're treating you bad and you can't leave because if you leave, you ain't gonna get your documents. Yeah. What's up? Welcome to the live. Remember, guys, follow and share and like up the live. Anyway, my son is crying, so I have to go check on him in his room. Have a good night, a good morning. I know most of the people are from different places. So, guys, thank you for tuning in and see you tomorrow around this time. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff, and comment and tell me what you want me to talk about next. Have a good day, a good night, a good evening. One love, like what Bad Marley say. Mwah.